you can always trust the man in the red truck.
Mox of Jonesboro is the comfort place. Comforting seating featuring Stressless by Acorns, Luna Chair by IMG, and Tempur-Pedic. Mox invites you to come and browse Mox's fine selection of gifts and accessories. Mox of Jonesboro offers the most comfortable chairs in the world. Located on 101 West Main Street in historic Jonesboro. Gift ideas for everyone. Mox of Jonesboro.
Here's an update from 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities. ETSU basketball in action tonight. They are at home taking on Northern Kentucky. This is a rare home and home during the course of non-conference play as ETSU matched up with Northern Kentucky at Northern Kentucky in the season opener. That was a game that was won by Northern Kentucky by a final score of 81-63. ETSU goes into tonight's game with a 4-3 record. If you are heading to the game, they would like you to wear blue. It is a blue out this evening. The ETSU women, they'll be back in action. They're in Texas coming up on Sunday when they take on Houston. Freshman guard Erica Haynes-Overton has been named the Southern Conference Player of the Week. She last week averaged 17 points and 6 rebounds in the 2 wins against Murray State and Winthrop. With a sports flash on 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities, I'm Matt Pauley.
Tri-City Sports Now. Shea Patterson, who is a very good quarterback of the Ole Miss Rebels. I think he's probably the best returning quarterback. Some people will say Ertz down in Alabama, but I think that Patterson probably the best quarterback returning in the SEC. Look what he did at Ole Miss at 6-6. Team that looked to be going out of business under Matt Luke. And it's not the old, or ranked them in the top 5 Ole Miss anymore. Shea Patterson came in. He's got 2 years left of eligibility. But now, what with the sanctions against Ole Miss, by the way, we say, where does Tennessee rank in the SEC? One program that, despite the 0-8 record and the worst record in the SEC last year, that I think going forward is a better program, prestige. You want to be here. This is a better job for you if you're a coach. Ole Miss, I think, is probably right now the worst one in the SEC because of these sanctions and so on. And really, it's not in the cards anymore. Johnny Vaught is not the coach anymore. I mean, it's not in the cards, I think, right now for Ole Miss to compete with the Alabamas and the Floridas on a consistent basis. I'm not breaking any news there. But evidently, Shea Patterson thinks the same thing. So this Saturday, you know where he's going to go? Michigan. He's going to talk to Jim Harbaugh, and I'll tell you what, Harbaugh, I think, some talk about could he go back to the pros, would he look at another position, this sort of thing. A lot of time, I'm not necessarily sold on Harbaugh as this elite coach. Frankly, I think his stock has been tumbling ever since he said Kaepernick. Yes, you over Alex Smith. How's that working out? Who's in the, and I know Smith's been dropping a ball lately, but who's starting in the NFL? And it's not because of the protests. It's because Kaepernick's all legs and 1-11. And you know something? Alex Smith did post the second best record in the AFC last year. Alex Smith may still win the division for the Chiefs this year. Back-to-back division titles or 1-11. You tell me who's about a QB. I know it's about talents around you, but nevertheless. Anyway, Ole Miss was originally trying to limit where their players could go to, and this was a huge point of contention. They are now letting their players basically transfer to wherever they wanted to, but it used to be, and they were trying to hold on to the players and saying, okay, if you want to leave us, you can transfer. And I think the 1-year wait-out period because of the probation is going to be waived. But if you want to leave, that's fine. But you can't go anywhere in the SEC, and you can't go to any school that's going to play us in the near future when you might be playing against us. They've since relinquished that restriction, knowing that it would be all kinds of negative headlines for them. But, for instance, there was a couple of players, Van Jefferson, for instance, who is a big receiver, another player named Street. This is what happened with and you got to just think about what a piece of work Hugh Freeze was when he was the coach there. These recruits had actually asked Ole Miss, what about these sanctions? What about these? We understand you might be going under sanctions. And they were told right out during a recruiting dinner at the Inn at Ole Miss, both Marion Street and Hope, and these are the parents of the recruit, said Freeze stood on a chair to address the recruits, and when asked specifically about the NCAA situation, said, "It is nothing to worry about. Right now I feel like my son has nowhere to go, and it's awful." Thankfully, Ole Miss is relieving, and they can transfer to some place they can play in a bowl game, get some more notice than what Ole Miss is going to go through in the next couple of years. That's the right thing to do. You don't penalize the players for Hugh Freeze's mistakes or out-and-out violations.
Let Happy Hour Tri-City Liquor be your one-stop destination.